Well, it's finally that time. I am so nervous and so excited. It's been 4 years. I feel like Mono came out 2018, 2019. So 3 to 4 years. I want to say it came out in 2018. I love Mono. It's my favorite project by Namjoon thus far. I'm a soul girl. That is my favorite. I think I was talking to my friend earlier about this. We were actually talking about the project. Like she's listened to it, I haven't, and obviously she wasn't going to spoil anything, but she was talking about her feelings about it, and we were discussing just Namjoon's solo work in general. And I came to the realization recently, I think Soul is my favorite Namjoon solo song. I don't think any other song thus far comes that in like anywhere near Soul for me. I love that song. I'm in love with that song, and I just really enjoyed Mono as a whole. So I'm very excited to get into more Namjoon projects. I think he's slowly becoming also another one of my favorites solo-wise in BTS to listen to. So I'm very excited. I was very nervous because Kim Namjoon makes me feel a lot of feelings. Yeah, and I was considering filming an album reaction today just because I'm quite excited, and again, Namjoon's music and all of that. So if y'all see me in the shirt just now, I've decided to film the album reaction in the same day. So excited. I'm so like nervous. I'm so nervous. We're gonna start off with Wildflower, which was the first release, and then I think the second one is called Still Life, if I'm not wrong. He also dropped a music video for that, so I guess waiting does, work sometimes, but either way. I'm gonna start with Wildflower. I keep wanting to say Windflower because that's a Mamamoo title track, but I need to remember that it's a Wildflower. Anyways, let's get into it. Three, two, one. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. It's fine. It's okay. I'm fine. So much solo work from him this year, which like could be expected, because enlistment and all of that. Fireworks. Okay, this is a beautiful opening shot. Okay, that just jumped right in. Is he going to depict fireworks as being the flowers? Because blooming and all of that. Okay. Okay. Sorry, that was a beautiful shot, like the light reflecting off of Namjoon. Side note, but these lyrics. I'm really trying to, because we all know, like, this is not a hot take or anything. Namjoon is quite the lyricist, so I am making an active effort to really look at the lyrics, but like, Namjoon is not helping here. Not helping me focus. 그저 화려하게 지고 싶은 날 시작의 전부터 나 상상했었지 그때 웃으며 박수 쳐줄 수 있게 나 소원했어 나 믿었던 게 다 멀어지던 때 Ooh, I'm loving. Ooh, this is okay. The music video just started. This is probably my favorite scene so far. This like desolate looking desert kind of with these barren trees. This is so cool. And even the way the shot came in, like turning and all. Oh my gosh, this is. 내 심장 소리에 잠 못 들던 밤 창밖에 걸은 청승마 지초승 달 I don't wish me a lovely night 내 분수보다 비대해질 life Ooh, the little beats touch up was 들던 밤 창밖에 걸은 청승마 지초승 달 I don't wish me a lovely night 내 분수보다 비대해질 life 저기 날아오르는 풍선을 애쓰지고 다져 물어 대체 지금 어때 Where you go, where'd you show you, where'd you Oh, I forgot there was a featured artist as well. Youjeen? Eugene? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm so sorry. They sound great. Yeah, they're like singing. Yeah, so I think the fireworks are meant to symbolize flowers. 내 마지막일까 전부진 결이 나 하나 열까지 다 이지그치 끝한 가면은 언제 벗겨질까 Yeah me no hero me no villain 아무것도 아니나 공회전은 반복돼. Namjoon is very good at hurting my feelings. I think Namjoon is one of the best idols out there. Artists just in general, I think that's very good at like hurting me with his lyrics a lot of the time, and obviously a lot of it is, I think another discussion my friend and I had was like Namjoon is very good at, I think at least, expressing himself, but specifically the self that he is, I think, in the stage in which he puts out a piece of work. So I feel like he's very, I would say, transparent in his works about how he feels about himself and his life and everything he's going through, and obviously a lot of that isn't pleasant to listen to read about, obviously, if you don't understand Korean and whatnot. And I think that's part of the reason why he's so good at hurting my feelings, because he can be very knowledgeable. This is a beautiful shot. Sorry, I've been very focused on the lyrics. Yeah, and now that I think about it, looking at the lyrics and all of that, I think this is why we have those shots in the different places, I would say, as well. That, wow, what an insightful thought. What I mean is like him wandering in the field, because at first I was like, oh, that seems quite peaceful, but now looking at it in the context of the lyrics, I'm like, I think you could also consider that him being a little bit lost in that field, and this is the most, like, I think, blatant depiction of turmoil we've seen in this music video so far. Even there's another shot. Oh, the one that I really, really liked with the trees and whatnot. Like, that was very cold and desolate and empty, and there was no life there pretty much, except Namjoon and the very few, I don't even know if you could call them trees that are barely surviving in there. I think this music video is very, it fits incredibly well so far, I would say, at the very least, with the discussions we're seeing. But then you also get these really beautiful, more still shots. Okay, I will say I think this might be my favorite section of the song. Like his flow here is immaculate. He also looks good. It's not the point, but he does look very good. No matter what's wrong, 그게 뭐가 됐건 쓰다게 호 자락을 붙잡고 뭔가 소해내는 기억 목소리만 큰 자들의 사회 난 여전히 침묵을 말해 이건 방백과수가 독담해 모두 오해 편견들이 자게 반갑잖아 너의 행가래 내 두 발이 여기 땅 위에 이름도 없는 꽃과 함께 다시 별에 가시고 소확해 발밑으로 와주고 목적 없는 목적지로 슬픈 줄도 모르고 그림자와 저 친구로 Bro, this music video is so beautiful. Okay, sorry, he looks, okay, listen, I fully know, it's not the point, but like, he looks amazing. He looks, anyways. And don't tell me like gotta be a someone 난 절대 그들처럼 될 수 없음네
흐르는 시작은 여태껏 날 지켜온 단 하나의 힘과 철 타는 불꽃에서 들꽃으로 손에 내서 영원으로 나의 광야가 드는 나무를 언젠가 나 되돌아가래 저 하늘을 흩어질래 Like a flower, flower, like flower, flower, 눈부시게 Like a flower, flower, like flower, flower,
Okay, so that was a lot. That was a whole lot. That was a whole lot of sadness and vulnerability out the gate, I will say. I do. And again, maybe I'm misinterpreting the music video and the song, but I think the ending of it is quite interesting, where we see him in the field with flowers, and we the whole song he's talking about how he'll never quite be a flower, never quite get the opportunity to bloom like the flowers, being in the barren land, being not like them, not being like the flowers everyone looks to and awes as and is in awe of and all of that. But I think I don't know, maybe again misinterpreting it, but I think the end is kind of how I'm reading it, is to say that he does eventually become like a flower, or his maybe own kind of flower, so to speak. Especially what makes me think that is how they flip him in the flower field towards the end, and now he's in the sky, like he's being the one looked at and awed at by people. He has in his way become his own flower. And why I say his own flower is because obviously in the beginning you see the fireworks and all of that, and here we see him, I think it's lavender flowers if I'm not wrong, and those are obviously not fireworks, very different kind of flower, especially how flower is being used in the song and depicted in this music video. And I think that's kind of meant to say that him and maybe even artists similar to him, like him, contemporaries of him, are their own flowers. They create their own fields, that some people may look at and awe at. And specifically the scenes of him on stage make me feel that way. It feels a little bit more like an optimistic ending to an otherwise quite saddening song lyrically, I would say. That him not maybe not seeing himself that way, but like because there's always a price to fame, right? And I think I think if I'm not wrong, there was a lyric where he was like, I feel like I'm being devoured, by the fame, being unable to express myself in the ways I want, and express the ideas I have in the ways I want, and people potentially not listening to those ideas. Because I think it might sound like a wild idea. At least, again, I'm obviously a fan of Namjoon, a fan of BTS, because I think on the one hand you could be like, oh, but Namjoon's so popular, he's part of one of the biggest groups in the entire world in history. Even what do you mean people aren't gonna listen to him? But I do think with that fame and with the attitude some people have towards K-pop and towards BTS as well, I think there is a good number of people who will just dismiss, any messages and all of that Namjoon wants to share, which is fine. It's kind of the reality, right, of being a celebrity. Not everyone's gonna be on your side. Not everyone's gonna agree with you. Not everyone's gonna like you. It's whatever. But I do think that could take a toll on you, kind of, and especially if it comes to people also devaluing your artistry because of you being a member of BTS, or you being in a K-pop group or whatever. Because yeah, you don't have to like him as an artist. Even it's completely fine. Some people aren't even just hateful; they just don't vibe with him as an artist. They don't vibe with BTS as an artist and all of that. But I think there are obviously there's a camp of people and vocal camp of people who will just kind of give him shit because of the other things, like him being Namjoon, him being in BTS, him being in the K-pop group, all of that. But yeah, this was a lot, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of unpacking I'm going to do with myself with these lyrics because Namjoon. So of course there's going to be unpacking, and I'm very intrigued because my friend and I did. You know what? I will talk about that when we get to Still Life. Yes, when we get to Still Life. Okay, so this is another song my friend and I did discuss that she didn't tell me like the full discussion around it, but we were in our discussion of how Namjoon is one of those people, and you can see it as a pro as a con depending on how you want to interact with art. You want your art to be. Namjoon is very good at, I think, almost periodizing himself with his art. Like you can kind of tell that this is who he was and the ways he felt kind of at the time. Like maybe those ideas change, maybe they won't, but I feel like you can like even his first body of work, which I think is called Rap Monster, might be a fake fan, and Mono, I feel like just because they're different doesn't mean that one was inauthentic. It's just kind of you seeing the changes in Namjoon as a person and as an artist. And I say as a person, obviously I don't know Namjoon, we're not friends, we don't talk. But I say as a person because I do think he is one of those people who is very expressive in his music. And I think Jin is very similar in that same regard. Like I think there are a lot of things they don't talk about regular day to day that I think they kind of almost reserve for their music, or they feel more comfortable talking about in their music. And she said Still Life was kind of a song that kind of encompasses that idea, like a still painting, so to speak. Like a person in a still painting might be dead, but within that painting they still exist, so to speak. But anyways, very excited, very hyped, always hyped for Namjoon music. Let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. I've done a lot of talking this video. I don't even know if I made sense and got my points across. Oh, okay, we on a bougie train. Sorry, Namjoon looks great. That's the thought.
I'm still alive.
Oh, I think haven't they made a song together? Anderson Paak, I think that's how you pronounce their name, and Namjoon? Because I feel like that name sounds very familiar. Or maybe I've just heard it in passing somewhere else, but yeah, that. Okay, I really like this song already. The jazziness to it. I really like this.
I'm still alive.
Oh shit! Come on, let's mess with time and space. Let's go, Namjoon.
Now still alive, but I'm moving. Just lip now, going forward. Yeah,
so maybe it is because it's a little bit more upbeat, but I think I'm already liking this a lot. Like more than Wildflower. Not that it has to be a competition, but I really like this song. It's like I really like the song, and I love the concept of this music video so far.
I'm still alive. Now still alive, but I'm moving. Just lip now, going forward. Yeah, 멈추지 않은 정물. 도피와 나의 culture. Give me no name, cause I'm untitled. 계속 전시되는 내 삶. Yeah, 그래도 삶. 아직도 싸움 가방 가버렸고 미래는 모르네 두 갈래 길에서 숨 고르네 벗어나고 싶어 이
Oh, okay. There's so much I want to say, but I don't know when to pause because there's also so much going on in the song. I've been really liking the background vocals and the little ad-libs we've been hearing throughout. But there was a lyric I really liked. Black Flower. This, I think he also touched on it in Wildflower, maybe. I don't know if it was a lack of desire to be labeled as well, that explicit idea. But I think this is something, maybe I'm also drawing on BTS music. It also makes me think of Idol, where he was like, you can just call me whatever you want at this point. Like I don't care. I am who I am. I know who I am. I know the kind of artist that I want to be. You can call me whatever you want. Or call me nothing. Untitled.
Give me no name, cause I'm untitled. 계속 전시되는 내 삶. Yeah, 그래도 상
Bro, this look on him.
아직도 상
I
학원
like
가버렸고 미래는 모르네 두 갈래 길에서 숨 고르네
I love this
벗어나고
section.
싶어 이 캔버스의 틀 어제와 내일이 내게 들인 그늘 나 그저 담담하게 live earth time
Oh, interesting. Okay, so are we using still life in terms of like the
학원 가버렸고 미래는
style
모르네
for
두 갈래 길에서 숨 고르네
because of the
벗어나고
canvas
싶어 이
frame line?
캔버스의 틀 어제와 내일이 내게 들인 그늘 나 그저 담담하게 live earth time 24/7 yeah baby I'm on time 난 그저 오늘을 살아 일본을 좀
As you should.
일단 걸어보시 no baby I'm still alive
Hey,
Y'all can lock me in the frame I'm moving
I like this message. I really like that. Okay. I really like. Is this? I haven't even heard the album. Is this my favorite song on the album? It might be. It really might be.
Y'all can lock me in the frame I'm moving
I'm assuming this is Anderson.
I'm still alive
Was that the frame? Is that meant to act? It's like the metaphorical frame he was in, the little pieces.
But I'm moving
Hey.
now go forward
Hey, bro. No? Is an attractive man, you know?
Go forward, yeah. 멈추지 않은 정물. Yo, and never stop, baby. Let's get it now. Earth day's my day one, brother. Baby, 난 돈으로 시간을 벌어. 걔네 초롱은 듣지만 닉비 버려. 꼭 벌어지듯 온라인에 목숨 걸어. Trendset
Wait, what did he say?
벌어. 걔네 초롱은 듣지만 닉비 버려. 꼭 벌어.
Ooh, that's a
Day one,
Coming in
brother.
with the
Baby, 난
bars.
돈으로 시간을 벌어. 걔네 초롱은 듣지만 닉비 버려. 꼭 벌어지듯 온라인에 목숨 걸어. Trendsetter, I'm a friend better. 시상해질 정도의 going getter. 결국 네가 원하는 대로는 되지 않았지. 바른 건 달리 너무 잘 살아내네 내 뜻대로. Living in 한남대로.
I love this song. I really, oh my god, holy shit. No, this section in particular.
멈추지 않은 정물.
Fucking dope.
Stop, baby, let's get it now. Earth day's my day one, brother. Baby, 난 돈으로 시간을 벌어. 걔네 초롱은 듣지만 닉비 버려. 꼭 벌어지듯 온라인에 목숨 걸어. Trendsetter, I'm a friend better. 시상해질 정도의 going getter. 결국 네가 원하는 대로는 되지 않았지. 바른 건 달리 너무 잘 살아내네 내 뜻대로. Living in 한남대로. Look at my 탄탄대로. reality 없어 이제 강남대로 월세 밀린 너 빨리 당장 방 빼고. What a perfect song, look at your chain.
I was gonna say, I think it's very interesting you also took this time to call out flex culture. Because that's a certain, if we're talking about the ideas of like art styles and, you know, putting yourself in a box that's specifically in the reference of a frame like a painting and all of that, I think with flexing and whatnot, and specifically it being online, that could also act as a kind of metaphorical frame, so to speak. Maybe even literal, because, you know, looking at it through your phone and it appearing cropped and whatever on your feed and whatnot, and the ways in which people online feel the need to kind of box themselves into those frames in particular. Okay, Namjoon, all right, I love this song.
Look at my 탄탄대로. reality 없어 이제 강남대로 월세 밀린 너 빨리 당장 방 빼고. What a perfect song, look at your chain. Me better do it live with your my style. 오늘을 살아 잡초처럼 야 화초처럼 넌 I never stay. Oh shit. Hey Bob, what's that? You doing a while?
Is this him being put back in the frame?
Shit happens in life, but you know what happens is what happens. It's gonna be what's gonna be, bro.
Had to share context.
Yeah, come on. I'm still alive. Y'all can lock me in the frame. I'm moving. Yeah, I'm still alive. Life is better than the death of proving. Yeah, I'm still alive. But I'm moving. Just lit now. Go forward. Yeah, 멈추지 않은 정물. Don't be one night go to. I'm still alive. But I'm moving. Just lit now. Go forward. Yeah, 멈추지 않은 정물. Yo, and never stop, baby. Let's get it now.
Namjoon, I have a bias. Leave me alone. Okay, this is very interesting. These endings of these music videos are really getting me here. I was also gonna say, I think he has a lot of features on this album, doesn't he? Like, I think I saw the track list like a while ago, and he has quite a lot of features on this album. So very interested to hear how they sound with Namjoon and all of that, and maybe discover artists or look into artists that I vaguely heard about, because this is my favorite song so far. I'm gonna lie to you, the jazz, he already had me with that. I was sold. I was there. Dude, Okay, I want to talk about the ending for a moment because I feel like I don't know. I think I spoke a lot about the song and my thoughts on it and the discussions within it like throughout watching the music video. Because the end when he was like dancing around the train, because I was like, oh, I feel as though the train is kind of meant to act as the frame he's in this, and then he was back in it, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then we saw it kind of floating around and him dancing and whatnot. So I was like, oh, is this kind of meant to say that he can control the frame that he's in, that he's not actually boxed in, so to speak. Like he can choose to be boxed in, kind of. But then we saw the end with all the other people and whatnot. Maybe he's saying that he is kind of moved beyond being boxed in, but a lot of other people haven't. Like they are still life, haha. But no, they're still within the frame and haven't kind of freed themselves from it. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it. But that's off the top of my head. First watch, that's kind of the energy I'm getting. Girl, this album, maybe this is the I'm not even gonna lie. Still Life has made me really want to listen to the album. Like I think Still Life is a song where I've been like, okay, I need to listen to this album actually. I need to stop playing games and just listen to it. You know what? I might take a break and actually just hop into the album. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, this is my reaction to Namjoon's Wildflower. I keep wanting to say Windflower. Wildflower and Still Life. And I will see you in the next one.